Good morning, everyone. My name is Becca Fromhers. Welcome to Western Oregon, where the sun is just coming up and the horses are awake. Actually, the sun's been up, I guess, a couple of hours. It's only 8 o'clock, but it's been up probably since about 5. And you are here for day 1 of Opera Organically, the 30 days of Opera Organically. It's a project where I have dedicated 1 month of my life to exploring each day a different aspect of something that I call Opera Organically. And with me here is a wonderful friend that I'd like to introduce to you. Her name is Lena, and she's a 6-year-old quarter horse. And she and I have been getting to know each other over the last, 10 days since I moved Opera Organically from Berlin to Oregon. We've been having a great time, learning a lot about each other. And you might ask yourself, why is a horse here on day 1 of Opera Organically? Well, it has to do with my story as an opera singer. And what I've realized, the more that people have asked me about Opera Organically, is that I would need to tell you my story. And I resisted it a long time, this telling of my story, because I believed that what I was seeing around me in the opera world was a lot of an expression of perfection. And I thought that being a singer and becoming a singer was about doing all the right things, about going to the right schools, starting at the right age, in the right choir, in the right city. Because I looked around and I looked at what I thought was success, and I started to try and define it. And what I found is that there are infinite stories and infinite paths to our own knowledge of ourselves as singers and to our own success as singers. And I thought, well, if I see all of these stories, why would I be afraid to tell my own? So for this first day of Opera Organically, Lena is going to help me briefly tell you my story. If you hear noises, it's all of the horses getting put out to pasture. And Lena apparently is the first one to sing here. All of her friends are going out. So I don't know, we might have to let you go out, but I think you'll stick around and play with us. This is Opera Organically. So the reason horses are so important to me as a singer and as a person is that I grew up with them, and through a very awkward phase in my teenage years, which I think a lot of us go through, horses were literally my best friends. So when I went to Oberlin College and Conservatory for my voice degree, I was on the equestrian team, and then I knew that I needed to go to Europe to continue my studies. And when I was in, I'm just going to move her around a little bit. Again, this is Opera Organically. She wants to go see her friends, so I'm just going to put her in a circle here while I continue to tell the story. Maybe have her walk back and forth. So, while I was at Oberlin, I was on the equestrian team, and then after that, the hay is also being delivered. Lena's like, it's a moving smorgasbord. If you could see out in the driveway, there's a huge trailer full of hay. So she's going, yum, yum, yum. So after Oberlin, I knew I needed to move to Vienna because I met some important singers that told me that I needed to be there, that was the place to be to learn how to sing and to be around the greatest music. And it was the truth. I went there and I studied with a woman named Hilda Tzadek. And Hilda Tzadek, Kama Zengaran Hilda Tzadek, is an amazing woman, a very insightful teacher, and I would recommend anybody who gets a chance to get to know her. She's just a fascinating person. And on one of our first lessons, before she even knew that I am a horsewoman, she said to me, "Your voice is like a horse. Your voice is a horse." And I was completely taken aback because I thought these two things were separate, my riding and my singing. She said, "No, your voice is like a horse." And not only is it a horse, but it's a beautiful, fantastic horse, a jumper, or an athlete. And what you do with this horse is you get on it as the singer, and you kick it, and you run it through the fences. You go out into this beautiful area, and there's a bunch of fences that you have a chance to jump over. But what you do is you run through them. You run, good girl, you run this gorgeous horse right through the fences. And I'll tell you, that gave me a lot to think about, because one of the things that I never, ever wanted to do is hurt a horse. That was the last thing I wanted to do. And what I found out was that I was actually doing that to my voice. And I didn't know why, and I didn't know how to stop. So the last 8 to 10 years of my life, I have been dedicating to understanding why I was singing in a way that was hurting my voice, and how not to do it. And so that's where the pathway began, is me realizing that I was approaching the voice, my voice. I call it the voice. It's the voice that all of us share, in a way that was not a good girl. She's checking out the barrel. That's what I've been showing her to do, to be curious. That was not in harmony with its true nature, with the true nature of the voice. And over the 10 years, I've still been lucky enough to have horses here in Oregon, because my family has horses. Good girl, check out the brushes. Yeah. She might start taking them out and chewing on them. So I've been lucky enough to be able to take breaks from my time in Europe, performing and studying and singing, to come home and hang out with the horses and continue learning from them. And I am so fascinated and grateful and in awe of the fact that Lena, this particular horse, has entered my life at this time while I'm beginning the project of Up Organically, 30 days of Up Organically. Because Lena's story as a horse is a lot like my story as a singer. And it's easier for me to tell her story, and perhaps might illustrate to you a little better what I mean by sharing her story with you and not going into the sometimes gory details of the story, my story to my voice. So her story is a lot of a metaphor to my pathway to singing and to freedom in singing. Lena was born here at this wonderful farm with wonderful people who very much care for their horses. And as we know, anything is a business, and in order to survive, you have to treat it like a business. So Lena had this beautiful childhood till she was about 3 years old, and it was time to pass her on to another family so that she could have a job, so that she could have a life, and so that she could learn how to begin a lifetime of a relationship with humans, including riding and training and all that. And so she was sold when she was 3 to a very well-meaning family who thought they knew a lot about having a relationship with a horse, but they actually didn't know what they were doing. They did not know that walking up to her in the way that they were walking up to her, or saddling her in the way that they were saddling her, or communicating to her in the way that they were communicating to her, was actually scaring her, and was actually teaching her to put up defenses, was actually teaching her to run away. And one of the things that we've been playing with is teaching her to there's another horse walking by her. She's like, "That's my buddy. I want to go play." You will soon. I'll hurry it up. Is teaching her to be afraid with her, to be okay with her fear, because she has had this experience where basically the whole world was coming down on top of her, and it was difficult for me to watch the couple of times that I saw this happening. But I think sometimes in that case it's a little bit like watching a different voice teacher teach, and you think, okay, this is not exactly what I want, but I can't really say anything because that's not this person's journey at this time. Well, so just teaching her to deal with this emotion. This is a great relationship building tool for us. This is the first time that I've actually played with her while her friends are going out. So she's just kind of saying, "Becca, I think I'd rather be with them instead of with you." So I just gotta say, "Luna, it's fun to be with me, even though I don't have food." Good girl. Just keep her moving here. So one of the things that I have, the vision for Organically, is to start a vocabulary so that when we see singers being treated in ways, or voices, not even singers, but voices, good girl, being treated in ways that we personally would object to, that we have a non-offensive way of beginning a process of questioning for the student in regards to their voice, for the student and for the teacher. So a lot of this thought process is thinking, what could I have said to the owner of Lena to get her thinking? And what could we say to singers to get them thinking about their relationship to their voice? Because once that process starts, I find that it very rarely stops. At least in my life, because I always want to go to the very core of things. So I'm going to the core of relationship with her. I've been to the core of the relationship with my voice, and it's all very exciting.